I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9 to 5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, fucking duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till, like, 6:15 earliest, and then, like, I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset. Oh my god. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just, like, the 9 to 5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like, if it was remote, you get off at 5, and you're home, and everything's fine. But, like, I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and, like, people that drive to the office, like, you don't get off at 5, and I know it could be worse, I know I could be working longer, but, like, I literally get off, it's pitch black, like, I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like, how do you have time to, like, meet, like, a guy? I don't know, like, how do you have time for, like, dating? Like, I don't have time for anything, and I'm, like, so stressed out, and I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional, but, like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
Okay. Whew, that was quite the rant that she went on. So I saw this floating around the other day. First I saw it on Reddit, then I saw it on Twitter, and it was kind of under the guise of like, oh, Gen Z just figured out what working in 9 to 5 was. And I was listening to this video, and I listened to it over and over again, a couple times, because I also read the comments, and then I watched it again. And I was kind of saying to him, like, these are rather valid, concerns or valid complaints that she has. It's almost like when the internet sees somebody complaining, it's almost directly to, oh, I'm going to just trash this person because one, they don't see my face, they don't do none of that, and so yeah, it's easy to just pick on someone who's just complaining. Now, I'm not someone who will ever publicly complain on a platform like that, about like little struggles, but what she said makes total sense. I mean, you guys want to talk about nowadays how it's crazy. Like, rent is increasing, there's also food is increasing, cost of living is going up, and this and that. And guess what doesn't increase? Wages. So you take in all this, and then keep in mind that in order for you to keep up with the cost of living, sometimes you have to take up extra shifts and take up another job, like all this fun stuff. And it's almost like people try to normalize the 9 to 5 lifestyle and how it's that's just the way life is. You got to accept it. And I'm going to tell you right out now, straight up, that is some hot garbage. Like, actual garbage. You're going to tell me to my face that I got to put up going 9 to 5 every single day. Keep in mind, I actually don't work 9 to 5 much. I'm a part-time worker, so it's not as difficult. But I do feel for these people who have to get up and you go to a place that you don't want to work to. And she said in the video that the workplace is fine or whatever, so it is what it is. But I'm saying, imagine you have to go to a job, not because you want to do it, it's because you have stuff, you have bills to pay, and you don't want to be out on the streets. So you got to wake up, and then wake up this is just regular 9 to 5. Imagine, God forbid, you got to wake up even earlier. But say, for example, it takes you an hour to get to work, so you got to be up at 7, catch the bus for like 7:30 probably, and then you barely get to the office on time, and your boss is wondering what the hell were you. And then when you go back, the journey is just as long. And I know for me, in between my commute times, I always try to have something to read, which really, really helps my sanity, because these commutes sometimes can be boring. Of course, you get the occasional event that will happen from time to time, but goodness gracious. I mean, you have, like, imagine that you're normalizing people working for someone they don't want to work for. That makes sense? And also, on top of that, by the time you get home from your job, you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to talk to nobody. You don't want to you just want to eat, sleep, and then repeat the same cycle over and over again. And you wonder why people are always like depressed, are always having issues, because you don't have any healthy outlets to even, do your hobbies or make, she has talked about dating and stuff. That's even another thing that you don't even, I'm not even going to touch for now, but like, why does everyone feel the need you have to dunk on every single person who complains? Like, I watched this video twice, and she's pretty valid in all of her complaining. Like, where's the correlation here? It's almost like people are seeing it as, oh, young people are complaining all the time, and we had it hard. It's like, well, isn't the point that you guys had it hard, so you make it easier for the people after you. It's almost like people are trying to get ahead in the trauma Olympics. It's like, ooh, I had to have I had to work 60 hours just to provide for my family. You don't understand struggle. And I'm just there, I'm just like, yeah, I don't understand, because I don't want to work 60 hours and be miserable. And also comes back to what I talked about earlier in a few videos some time ago, where I find that hard work is very much overvalued. And the 9 to 5 basically exemplifies this whole shtick, where people always want you to work hard, but you're not working smarter. You just, first of all, you're just covering what you need when you get a job after school and all that, or after college in this case for her. But point is that you're not really showing off what you can do in a 9 to 5. You're not really pushing yourself. You're just, you know, working for someone that you don't want to work for. Or even, and sometimes even in the field, say in this case she graduated, so even in this case she might be in a field she works in. Yeah, commuting to work and even a job you love is a bit of an annoyance. Like, yeah. And God forbid you're trying to keep up with every other responsibility as well. You have to, see, you mentioned going to the gym. That one's a tough one. I know for me, it's a good 45 minutes to get to the gym by the bus. Sometimes I have a car, but sometimes I don't. So, it's like, man, you get home at like, maybe like, sometimes I go home at like 5 o'clock or 5:30. So it's like, do I want to go, not eat, go straight to the gym for 45 minutes, work out, and then come back? That's a good like 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And so when it comes to the 9 to 5, you feel like you never have enough time in the day. And even when you get the weekend, some people just sleep the whole weekend, which it makes sense. You're literally tired from moving from place to place, trying to get what you need to. And this is all just to survive. But yeah, I just don't understand the whole Gen Z is entitled, they just figured it out. I'm saying too that there's some people who genuinely complain too much. Okay, I'm not even going to even try it. Like, there's that lady who went viral for complaining about being taken to the Cheesecake Factory. Now, me personally, the Cheesecake Factory is not that bad. I actually enjoy the food somewhat. But besides the point, like, that's complaining, okay? That is the level of complaint that I cannot stand. And she only got worse. That's the crazy part, huh? But no, she's pretty valid in her complaints. I just don't understand why people have the need to like make fun of her. It's all makes sense. You want to make time for stuff that's more than just work, especially if you're a full-timer. Like, you don't want to be working every day of the week all the time. You want to do other stuff. You want to catch up on hobbies. You want to do this and that. You want to maintain your health. But the way that life is structured right now, especially right now, it's not really that feasible. And even if you have god tier time management skills, you still are going to run into a couple of roadblocks. And sometimes even then, you'll watch these people who are like, I used to work as one job, and then I had to do this and that. And while you can always make your situation better, I think you should also acknowledge that, hey, maybe I'm not the problem entirely. Maybe there's some systems at play here that are not downtrodden, but like that are holding me back regardless. Of course, it's up to you to break free from that, but I'm just saying, like, yo, let the girl complain. Like, it's not like the 9 to 5 was never a fun time. Does anybody, even in the job you like, there are some days you're going to be like, man, do I really want to get up and do this job? Or do I really want to go and commute to work and come back? Especially if you have to take public transport. And don't even start on how some like public transport systems in some cities are just not safe at all for anybody, especially if you're like a woman. Jesus Christ. Sometimes the subway is a dangerous place. You don't know what kind of person you're going to run into in the subway. So you're basically risking your safety because you have needs, of course. You have to cover your bills. But I'm saying you have to, take in mind your safety every single day or every night just so you can work for someone that you don't want to work for. Does that make sense when you contextualize all of that? And of course, there's ways you can also work around this, but my goodness, like, guys, the 9 to 5 is it's not a glorious thing to go through. Like, transitioning to adulthood is something that you can't really prepare for either. There's no guidebook on how to do it because there's a number of circumstances that can happen in between your transition to adulthood. You know what I mean? So I don't get it. I don't get why people gotta make fun of her for it. It's just a bunch of nonsense, honestly. And I guarantee you, like, half the people who are making fun of these people hate the job that they go to every day, or always have some kind of other issue that they have to deal with, and then want to make fun of her for that. no, I find it's just too much, you know? Like if she was complaining that, I don't know, she was working from home and like the job is hard, I'd be like, okay, sweetie, you know, you lost me there. You're working from home, you get to, you know, relax a little bit. You don't have to work too hard. You feel me? Like literally, actually, not too long ago, in the area that I live in, some of the workers, like the government workers, had to literally push back against, you know, going to the office because it was like, well, we already set up at home. Why we want to have to go back to the office? And of course, it took a while to get negotiations going, but they're there. Then it's all finished. And so those type of things are like very valid. So I don't get why people always want to swoop in and be like, well, I'm working harder and I have to work hard. So I should be like, no one else should complain. And it's like, it's like, what are you talking about? Are you stupid? Actually, there's a little story for you guys after speaking of the stuff I was talking about prior with the government workers. Actually, I was with this is an old job. Last time I came out of this job for about 4 days, so it didn't last very long. But we had this business owner that was kind of mouthing off about like, oh, people just don't want to work hard, or they don't want to do this and that. And I'm just like, I'm sitting in this meeting, by the way, when I'm falling asleep, but I was like, did nobody watch the news? Like, these people are literally they're literally fighting for better pay and to not go back to the office, because why would we want to go back to the office when we don't get paid enough? That's literally what the argument was. And so when you hear people want to be like, oh my God, people don't want to work hard. It's like, no, that's not always the case. You have a batch of complainers, yes, but there's also like genuine people who be like, you know what? Enough is enough. Anyways, but this girl kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And when I see people being like, oh my God, you finally reached adulthood, it's like, well, yes, yeah. No one said it was going to be easy, but there's complaints you can make, like obviously. And so I just find that the internet took a massive L on this one. Like what was the point of this video? But anyways, with all that being said, I'm done ranting about this video. There's just some stuff that I'll never seem to understand, regardless of how much I try to apply a unbiased like brain to. But if you enjoyed this video and like me to get even more annoyed at the internet, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow my socials down in the description below, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!